YouTube was created more than 10 years ago, and throughout the years there have been many improvements, such as video quality.
Not all, but many successful videos now have increasingly good quality. As with many websites and apps, YouTube has gone through many changes. In this video, I aim to show how YouTube has evolved over the past year, focusing on recent times and examining existing content.
Culture is not a word that's regularly used when discussing YouTube. However, a particular type of culture does exist within YouTube. It's tricky to define video culture. As an online video platform that has so many different types of videos, it would be fair to say that YouTube is very broad in this sense. YouTube's popular content defines the culture surrounding the video sharing website. The types of videos that have taken over now are in the categories of gaming, comedy, beauty, how-to, pranks, and vlogs. At least these are the categories that have been popular all throughout 2015 and up until now. To find out what's popular on YouTube, all anyone needs to do is go to the homepage and visit trending on the left corner. Or if they generally watch YouTubers, they might see more of their videos or similar content on the homepage where the recommended section is. The simplicity of finding any type of videos based on practically anything and everything is the main reason YouTube is so popular and regularly used. The characteristics of the popular content can be used to best describe YouTube's culture. There are a few main characteristics of popular content. Why might these be useful to know? For one thing, they might be useful for marketing. If getting popularity on YouTube is the aim, these techniques are definitely worthy of consideration. However, some of these techniques work mostly exclusively on YouTube and are often criticized for being unoriginal and the reason why YouTube is often not taken seriously. Number 1. Most videos on YouTube are typically described as short, ranging from 1 to 10 minutes, catering to those with short attention span or those who simply wish to spend less time watching something. Number 2. Most channels embody an informal approach. The friendly manner and tone which most large YouTube channels use is incredibly welcoming and has an undeniable appeal. The charming sense of being in the company of a friend has an alluring effect and is one way of describing the relationship between the content creator and their viewers. Number 3. To attract viewers, there are some key steps a successful YouTuber always considers. The main way is through a thumbnail and title. Since viewing content on YouTube is different to that of TV, where typically you switch through channels and/or look at channel schedules, viewers of YouTube click on a video mainly because of the thumbnail and title. Other factors include views, who posted it or who shared it, but the main criteria for viewer attraction a YouTuber follows is these two. The numbers of views on intriguing titles and thumbnails prove this. Overly provocative uses of these two techniques is referred to as clickbait. One way of doing this is through sexualization, visually, and sometimes the text in the title. Another way is the shock factor. If something is hardly believable or unusual, it's human nature to want to find out what it's about. A huge media company that does this excessively is BuzzFeed. The journalistic approach they have in articles uses this technique all the time, and even in their YouTube videos. Their clickbait use is proven to be successful as their channels are very popular. A specific type of videos that does this a lot but don't count as a category on its own are pranks. It's well known that pranks have gained a lot of attention and have caused controversy recently. The titles and thumbnails used are often so ridiculous and repetitive that they've attracted a lot of negative attention and even parody sketches from other popular YouTubers.
My name's Ian, and my best friend Anthony thinks I'm addicted to pranking.
Often referred to as social experiments to justify their reasoning, pranks have arguably been crossing the line many times. Unsurprisingly, some pranks have been exposed as fake. Actors in the pranks have revealed that they've been paid to be in the videos, and so some of these so-called social experiments have been set up and are therefore inaccurate. Number 4. Surrounding the culture, there is another issue involving people starting YouTube channels and doing what everyone else is doing. YouTuber Markiplier with over 12 million subscribers pointed this out. He made a video about it just 2 weeks ago as I'm saying this.
And YouTube is changing. YouTube has changed over the years many times. It's changed leaderships. It's changed design decisions. Sorry. New people have come in, old people have left, people have moved around, you guys have changed your tastes. If you asked an executive at YouTube, they would go, we want more views, more money, more ad revenue, and more. And you can't exactly fault them for that. It's the nature of the business of things.
He comments on this cycle of content that's being produced by the big channels on YouTube, and then other big channels and smaller ones do the same thing because they believe this is what people want to see. I understood immediately the point he attempted to put across, as I have noticed this cycle, and viewers in the comments would often point out that someone has copied someone else. The idea that they've copied someone is not always the case, as sometimes people just like doing the same thing as others because the content did well, or they want to do it for themselves. However, there are channels that imitate what other more successful channels are doing in hopes they'll achieve the same results. What happens most often is that they don't succeed as people stick to what they already have subscribed to, and they're not interested in seeing the same type of videos over and over again. The main problem with this is the lack of innovation. Since people were doing what everyone else is doing successfully, then no one is adding something new. Creative ways of bringing something new would be good to think about for new YouTube content creators. As Markiplier also mentioned, YouTube is constantly changing, but the same content being done is not the right direction for it. The variety of YouTube is part of its appeal, and new great ideas are what should be a part of its future. Moving on, let's talk about copyright. YouTube has had a lot of complaints about its copyright changes throughout the years, so it is a good choice of a specific example to discuss when referring to the law of copyright. A lot of these complaints by users had some good points. Isn't it stealing our freedom of expression? It's good that people have the opportunity to sue for something they believe belongs to them due to copyright, but there are good arguments for fair use. It has become so copyright obsessed recently that we have to constantly think about what we use and how we use it. Why is it such a big deal now? It wasn't a problem at the start. Theoretically, it may have something to do with the emergence of the large media companies on the website. Fair enough, if the content isn't ours, then we shouldn't pretend it is, but limiting everything we use because it doesn't originate from us is a little excessive. And that's what fair use is about. It's protecting the rights of the owner, but allowing some types of use by others. There is a link on YouTube explaining fair use. It points out the type of circumstances in which copyrighted material can be used without getting permission and gives an example of this. It identifies 4 factors of fair use, the first one of which states the purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is for non-profit educational purposes, which is what I am doing. It goes on to say, courts typically focus on whether the use is transformative, that is, whether it adds new expression or meaning to the original, or whether it merely copies from the original. Commercial uses are less likely to be considered fair, though it is possible to monetize a video and still take advantage of the fair use defense. This supports my use of copyrighted material, as my use is educational in a way that it informs of the current state of YouTube. It also comments on it and positively inspires debate, and therefore it adds new expression and meaning. Another one that stood out to me based on what I've noticed through my research is the third one. The amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. Borrowing small bits of material from an original work is more likely to be considered fair use than borrowing large portions. I had noticed a variety of YouTube channels using some bits of music in the background throughout various parts of their videos. I was surprised that they were allowed to do so, but it makes sense now that they've only used a small part of an audio. And I understand that, because if I played the whole song, then people would be able to listen to the song through my video, which would be unfair to the artist. But a small part of it, just for a few seconds, no harm done. However, it might also have something to do with the idea that many of the channels that get away with it are large, successful channels. Is YouTube practicing favoritism? Perhaps. If not, then why might YouTubers with over 1 million subscribers actually be allowed to use copyrighted music? Well, the cases I've identified are two. For one, they could have paid the copyright owner and worked out a deal which allows them to use the content. Or they might be taking a risk. They might not officially have the permission to use it, but decided to do it anyway. And they should be able to, but so should anyone else. Any channel ever, no limits, as long as it's fair use. For example, it's preposterous when a video is taken down for containing 5 seconds of a song when there are tons of reaction videos on the website. Seriously, there are so many reaction videos and channels dedicated to reactions that are based on reacting to other people's content. And they get away with that. Some of their so-called reactions aren't even adding new meaning to the original content through the logic of fair use. But that's going into a deeper argument. In this video, we've looked at popular content on YouTube now. Additionally, I examined copyright and hinted at ways of inspecting copyright use more carefully and fairly. There is more to this than just observing videos and trends. It makes a statement of what people online are interested in. It's a reflection of the YouTuber and the YouTube viewer. There's only so much I can research and fit in, so I had to selectively gather specific content. By doing this, I got an overview of trends and discovered what stays and what goes, and what's likely to stay and go. In this sometimes difficult to predict generation, we can only speculate what comes after, but hopefully this has given you an idea and made you think about the video side of the internet.